What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of 30 and 30, and today we're going to talk about training volume. Now, I know I've talked about training volume before and ways to progress your workout, but today we're getting a little bit more specific on particular volume. Now, in the past, I thought the answer was do all the volume in the world, get all the muscle in the world. Well, you'll be surprised that I actually do less total volume now than I used to when I first started. I'll tell you why up next. So, when I first started, I would do probably on average per body part maybe 7 to 8 exercises per body part, and I would do anywhere between 3 and 5 sets per body part, per exercise. So that turned out to be quite a few sets that I would perform in a given session. And over time, I felt like my workouts were just getting longer and longer and longer. Easily 2+ hours in the gym, and it was very taxing for me to essentially get all that work in, and perform all the weights, and get all my sets. So what I did over time, as I got a little bit smarter, was actually decrease my amount of total sets, so that decreased my training volume, essentially. But then I focused on not just time under tension, like I did before. So, obviously you're going to have more time under tension if you're doing more sets, more reps, more exercises. So I decreased my time under tension, but instead I increased the quality. So instead of, you might hear people talk about time under tension, I'm here to bring it, one level more and put quality under tension. So now I do anywhere between, 3 and 5 sets usually for a given exercise, but my total exercises are significantly less. So now I probably do, per body part, 4 to 5 exercises per body part, like I said, 3 to 5 sets. So my total volume is definitely down from what it used to be, but now my quality is so much better than it was. So instead of in the past when I was doing all those sets, for a bunch of different exercises, if I was doing 5 sets for 8 exercises, that's 40 working sets, let's call it. Now if I'm doing 4 exercises and I'm doing 5 sets apiece, that's 20 working sets, which is much more realistic. But those sets are much better quality. So in the past, I had to do so much more volume to get the amount of reps, get the amount of quality reps, I should say. But now, I really focus on a lot of form, just make sure I'm actually doing the exercise right. I actually think about what muscles I should be contracting. In the past, especially for my chest and especially for my back, I felt like I just blew through the movements. I was just moving the weight from A to B and not really thinking. And it's taken me years to really hone in on the angles and the contractions. And it's something that I still work on every single day when I go to the gym, because I know that I'm not perfect when I go in and train. But that's one thing that I've focused on more recently, especially after each contest prep. I feel like I get a little bit more efficient, whether that's because of the posing, a little bit better muscle activation from that, just because I have more control. But after every contest prep, I feel like I get a little bit better with my training method and just my overall ability to work a given muscle and isolate a given muscle. So if you feel like you're doing a ton of volume and really not seeing a lot of progress, first analyze that volume. Ask yourself, how are those reps? Are they quality reps? Are you training the specific muscle, or are you just moving the weight from point A to B mindlessly? I would suggest decreasing the total amount of volume, so either dialing back the amount of exercises, dialing back the amount of sets, or doing both like I did. And then focusing on a lot of quality under tension, and then slowly you could add some sets in, maybe another exercise in as you feel comfortable. So guys, that's my biggest tip for you today as far as keeping track of your training volume. You can't just look at the sets and the reps as on paper. It's not as simple as multiplication. You have to look at the quality of those sets and reps, and you have to be honest with yourself. And that's the thing, especially when we are training at a little bit higher level, you do have to leave your ego at the door when you walk into the gym, because if you don't, and you're doing these sloppy sets and you're feeling like oh, I'm doing so much volume but I'm not making any progress, it's because maybe you're too much, you're ego lifting too much, and in order to actually progress you have to take a step backwards, really hone in on the quality under tension, and then you could start making small improvements going forward, adding a couple extra sets in here or there, or adding a different exercise in here or there. So guys, that's it for today's episode of 30 and 30. Remember, quality under tension. Tune in tomorrow for another episode of 30 and 30. I'll see you then.